Imagine waking up tomorrow and knowing exactly which industry is about to explode. Not guessing, not following hype, knowing. While everyone else scrolls through headlines trying to predict the next big thing, somewhere an AI system is already mapping the future, analyzing billions of data points, tracking hidden signals, and quietly identifying the next trillion-dollar opportunity before the world even notices. What if the next Amazon, the next Tesla, or the next revolutionary biotech breakthrough is already visible? Not to humans, but to machines. And what if that AI isn't predicting based on opinions or trends, but on patterns buried so deep in global data that no human could ever connect the dots fast enough? Today, we're diving into the rise of the AI that knows which industries will explode next, and what that means for investors, entrepreneurs, and the future of power itself. For decades, predicting the next booming industry has been part art, part luck. Venture capitalists relied on instinct. Analysts relied on reports. Billionaires relied on networks. Sometimes they were right, often they were wrong. But the world has changed. We now generate more data in a single day than humanity produced in centuries. Every search, every transaction, every shipment, every research paper, every job posting, it all leaves a digital footprint. And buried inside that data are early signals of transformation. Artificial intelligence has evolved from simply reacting to data to forecasting momentum. It can detect patterns across industries, across countries, across markets. Patterns so subtle that they're invisible to human analysts. This isn't science fiction. Hedge funds already use AI-driven models to detect emerging sectors before they trend. Governments use AI to forecast economic shift. Tech giants use predictive analytics to decide which technologies to invest billions into years before they go mainstream. The real question isn't whether AI can predict industry growth. The question is, how accurate can it become? And who controls it? Let's break down how this AI actually works. First, it collects massive amounts of real-time data, not just stock prices. We're talking about patent filings, startup funding rounds, academic research publications, supply chain movements, hiring trends, social sentiment, government policies, and even satellite imagery. For example, imagine AI notices a sudden spike in lithium mining activity, increased hiring in battery engineering, new research breakthroughs in energy density, and governments announcing green subsidies, all at the same time. Individually, these signals mean little. Together, they point toward a high-probability explosion in battery technology or energy storage industries. This is pattern convergence, and AI is exceptionally good at it. An industry growing at 5% might look stable, but an industry growing at 5%, then 9%, then 18% within short intervals shows exponential acceleration. AI systems are designed to detect nonlinear growth curves early. Humans often miss these inflection points because we think linearly. Machines don't. Money leaves clues. When institutional investors quietly begin shifting capital into a niche sector, AI can detect unusual funding density. It can see when venture capital clusters around certain technologies before public awareness catches up. This happened in artificial intelligence itself. Years before ChatGPT became mainstream, funding in large language models and computational infrastructure had already begun accelerating. Those signals were visible, but only to those looking at the right data layers. Another example is biotech. AI models monitor clinical trial registrations globally. If multiple companies begin targeting similar genetic pathways or therapeutic approaches, it signals a potential medical breakthrough zone. Now imagine combining all of this with global policy tracking. When governments start drafting regulation frameworks for emerging tech, whether it's quantum computing, autonomous vehicles, or synthetic biology, AI interprets that as maturation signals. Industries don't get regulated unless they're becoming economically significant. This is predictive ecosystem mapping. But here's where it gets more interesting. Modern AI systems are not just analyzing historical data, they simulate future scenarios. Using reinforcement learning and probabilistic modeling, they test how industries respond to different variables. Interest rate shifts, energy crises, geopolitical conflict, technological breakthroughs. They create thousands of what-if futures and calculate probability outcomes. Think of it like running the global economy through a simulator millions of times and identifying which sectors consistently emerge stronger across most simulations. This is no longer about reading trends. It's about modeling the future. Now let's talk about real-world sectors that AI systems currently flag as high explosion potential. One is advanced robotics and automation. With labor shortages in manufacturing and logistics, AI models detect rising investments in industrial automation, humanoid robotics research, and AI-powered production systems. As wages rise and supply chains shift, automation becomes economically inevitable. Another is clean energy storage. Solar and wind generation are growing fast, but storage remains the bottleneck. AI sees exponential patent growth in solid-state batteries and grid-scale storage solutions. That's a pressure point industry. Synthetic biology is another. AI systems track gene editing research acceleration, biotech startup density, and pharmaceutical collaborations. The convergence suggests programmable biology could reshape agriculture, medicine, and materials science. Then there's AI infrastructure itself. Data centers, specialized AI chips, cooling technologies, and edge computing. As AI adoption grows, the demand for computational power scales aggressively. AI predicts its own support industries will boom alongside it. But here's the deeper shift. AI doesn't just predict industries, it identifies meta-industries, sectors that enable other sectors. For example, cybersecurity becomes more critical as digitalization expands. Semiconductor manufacturing becomes strategic as AI models require more processing power. Rare earth mining gains importance as electrification spreads. It maps the dependency network of the global economy, and this is where power concentrates. The entities that control predictive AI systems gain asymmetric advantage. They see shifts before markets react. They position capital before hype begins. They influence narratives before media cycles catch up. This creates a new kind of intelligence gap, not between rich and poor, but between those with predictive systems and those without them. However, AI is not perfect. Predictions depend on data quality. Black swan events, pandemics, wars, disruptive breakthroughs can alter trajectories instantly. AI models also risk reinforcing bias if trained on incomplete datasets. And there's a philosophical question. If everyone uses predictive AI, do predictions become self-fulfilling? If AI signals that a certain industry will boom, investors pile in, funding increases, innovation accelerates, and suddenly the prediction causes the outcome. We may be entering a feedback loop economy where AI doesn't just forecast growth, it shapes it. For entrepreneurs, this changes strategy. Instead of chasing trends, the smarter move may be aligning with AI-detected convergence zones, building solutions within industries, showing early acceleration signals. For investors, diversification strategies evolve. Rather than betting on single companies, AI enables thematic investing based on structural industry shifts. For governments, predictive AI becomes a geopolitical tool. Nations that anticipate technological waves early can invest in infrastructure, education, and regulation ahead of rivals. And for individuals, understanding how AI reads the economy becomes essential. Because in a world where machines forecast momentum, reacting late becomes more costly than ever. We're moving from reactive capitalism to predictive capitalism. The winners won't just be those with capital, but those with foresight powered by algorithms. So here's the big takeaway. The AI that knows which industries will explode next isn't magic. It's mathematics at scale. It's data fused with pattern recognition, simulation, and probabilistic forecasting. But its impact is profound. It shifts advantage from intuition to intelligence, from guessing to modeling, from following trends to anticipating them. The future may no longer belong to those who simply work harder, but to those who see sooner. And as AI systems grow more sophisticated, one question remains. Will you wait for industries to explode, or will you learn how to spot the signals before the blast? Because somewhere right now, an AI is already mapping tomorrow's economy, and the next trillion-dollar wave might already be forming, quietly, invisibly, and faster than anyone expects.